Marketing is ultimately about increasing sales. But for your marketing to lead to more sales, you need to get three things right. You need to know who you're talking to, where they are, and what you're saying. The reality is that many companies don't fully understand these areas. They base their marketing strategies entirely on platforms and algorithms that dictate which channels to use and how much to pay. This leads to advertising on irrelevant channels, messaging that fails to communicate value to prospects, and a rising cost to acquire customers. In this video, I'm going to introduce you to the concept of the customer journey. It's an exercise that helps marketers better understand the mindset and behaviors their prospects have at different stages of the buying process. When you grasp these aspects, your marketing will transform from random and confusing to targeted and effective, ultimately driving more qualified leads and sales. The customer journey is an exercise in empathy. It's designed to help us understand as best we can the mindset and behavior that our ideal customers go through when they're buying a product or service that we sell. Traditionally, it goes through being completely unaware of having a problem. So the prospect is not even necessarily in the buying mentality yet, all the way down through making the decision, choosing a product, and then becoming a loyal customer and increasing retention rates. But it's important to know every single stage here because you need to have a strategy, and the marketing that you use at one stage is not always going to be effective if just used at another stage. Before we go further, I want to say that the buying journey, the customer journey is not always linear. And I mentioned that people refer to this more, some people refer to this as a funnel, but a funnel goes from top of funnel all the way down to bottom of funnel. It's a linear path, and the customer journey isn't always like that. We don't control really where customers first interact with our brand. Some customers, their first interaction is more towards the buying side of the customer journey. They might be ready to buy. They've done their research elsewhere. Something else has happened, and they are ready to make a purchasing decision and choose your company. Where other prospects, even if they seem like a good fit, they're very, very early in the buying process. So it's important to know that you have to have a strategy for every stage of the customer journey. If you don't, then you have a gap. And the other thing is that this customer journey is not just about digital per se. It's not just about SEO and PPC and keywords. It really can inform all types of marketing, no matter what channels you are trying to be active on, no matter where you're reaching your prospects. This exercise will give you a better idea of what the best strategy is for marketing at every stage. So why does this matter? There's really a couple of very key benefits that you will get when you do the customer journey. The first one is you get a marketing plan with zero gaps. So I talked about it before, but if you haven't done the customer journey, then you're likely having a marketing strategy that is speaking maybe to one or two steps of the journey, but certainly not to all of them. So doing the customer journey gives you a full funnel marketing plan with no gaps. And that means that you are present wherever your prospects will be. The second thing is that you have a way to measure what you're doing. So if you're not using a customer journey, then you're going to have unclear messaging. You might not even be clear on who you're targeting. And you're going to have a marketing strategy that has gaps, which can't really be measured. It's not going to work very well. When you have a customer journey, you don't have gaps. You have a full funnel marketing strategy, and you align your channels, you align your messaging on those channels so that when it comes time to measure and adjust, you can do that. And you can actually have data that gives you a beneficial outcome. So let's go into each stage here. I'm going to talk about what the stage is, and then for every stage, I'll also give an example of the content types and the marketing strategies that might work for that stage. So starting at stage one, this is the prospect who is problem unaware. This is very, very top of funnel, if you'll say. This is the prospect who they might not really be in the market or the mindset to buy a product or searching for a product yet. They are problem unaware. What we're trying to do here is find the audiences that are most eligible and most likely to be led to a solution that our product solves. So we still have some targeting that goes in here. We're not just advertising or marketing to any random person, but we certainly don't have all of the data. We don't have all the control that marketers are used to in later stages of the journey. So for that reason, this is heavy on information and advertising. You might be familiar with, some keywords or some websites or certain places that your ideal audience likes to hang out, but you don't always know where that is. So tools like SparkToro can give you that information at a much earlier stage than just doing keyword research. That's a little bit further down the customer journey. Here, we're trying to inform. We're not always trying to convince. So again, it's about finding the audiences. Where do they live? Where are they spending time? And putting our message in front of them at that place. And a key here is to measure this often, like very often. You don't really want to go too far down this stage one and invest a ton of money and time before you're clear that some type of positive activity, whether that's signups or website visits and engaged users and engaged sessions from advertising in this stage. Stage two, moving on, is the problem aware. So this is the prospect who something has happened. They are aware that they have a problem, and now they're in the mindset of researching about that problem and potentially looking to find different solutions. Now, the key here is to understand that your product, your service may not be the obvious solution to them, or it may not be as obvious as you think it is. In B2B marketing and sales, we know that there are alternatives that companies use when they're looking for a solution. One of them might be just sticking with what they're doing right now. It can be annoying to, try to find a new platform or work with a new company or, start all over again. There's a lot of hesitancy that comes into that type of decision. So they might just choose to, keep doing what they're doing. They might choose to hire internally or, to not just do anything at all, to just ignore the problem. So here we're looking for informational content, but we're really looking to have content that persuades audiences and starts to, convince them that your solution is a good one for them to consider. So we want to focus on being the go-to resource. So obviously at this stage, the prospect is doing a lot of researching about their problem. We want to be the go-to resource for that topic. Our PPC might be a little early, depending upon what you find in your own research, but SEO is certainly a popular thing. Consider YouTube. Again, anything that's educational will be a benefit and should be an avenue that you at least explore. When it comes to the content and the information game, though, this is very competitive. Lots of activity, lots of traffic here, but very competitive. This is going to take a lot of time for you to build up. So a long-term content strategy, a long-term marketing strategy needs to be in place here that helps you become the go-to resource for a specific topic. Stage 3, solution aware. So the prospect now has decided on the type of solution. Remember, we talked about there's lots of ways they could go with that, including not doing anything. But in this case, they've decided on the type of solution that they're going to use. And now they're looking for specific products. And this is where it's really important for you to be everywhere that your prospects might be looking, not just in the traditional places, but think not only what can you drive to your website, but where else, what other websites, what other places, what other sources might your prospects be looking to when they're trying to find a solution like yours. PPC is obviously pushed heavily here. SEO is pushed heavily, but that's all inbound traffic, and that's traffic that you're driving to your website. It makes sense because the keywords at this level are more defined. So when you're talking about conversion, this is where you go away from just, acquiring traffic and, driving lots of people and getting awareness of your company. Now you're a little bit further down the journey and further down the funnel, if you will. So the keywords and the searches that are being done here, you can more reasonably think that they'll lead to some type of positive conversion for your company. Also consider that there's other places on the internet, there's other audiences, there's other resources that people will go to when they're finding their solutions. So make sure you have profiles there. So stage 4, product aware. At this stage, the prospect has created a list of the products that they're going to choose. And so here it's about being unique. It's about your marketing needs to set you apart from your products. A lot of times you'll find comparison pieces here when it comes to showcasing how your brand is better. You could look at feature pages. You could look at a lot of times companies will have like us versus them type pages. Those work particularly well. Also look at like case studies and testimonials. They're really the top, maybe the most popular content that can take a prospect from thinking that you are just one of these solutions to really being sure that you are the best solution and moving into stage 5. You've got to build trust and show tons of value here. If there's a place where we talk about ROI, it's at this stage. So stage 5 is decision. So at this point, basically the prospect has made their mind up. They're going to buy from you. They're going to buy from a company. We just don't want to have any friction. We want this to be seamless. Here, we're looking more for content that is totally customer focused. Make it super easy. Contact pages, pricing pages, demos, free trials, and more. Case studies and testimonials should talk about value and ROI and be very data driven at this point, because we just don't want anything to stop the prospect from finishing the purchase. We need to get them into your system as a customer. These are just obvious things that should be done, but it's so important because you need to have all of these in line for your prospect to really fully make the decision and have no regrets about it. Finally, once they've decided to buy from you and they're a customer, now we want to retain them. There's a lot more I think that can be said about this, but for this, we're really looking at content types like resource libraries, webinars, continuing education, testimonials, feedback surveys, spotlighting customers. People like to feel like they're a part of something, like, that they're being interacted with personally. Again, this is a stage where you've got a lot of other options that you don't necessarily use in the prior stages, but having a good marketing strategy for this can reduce your churn and make your company and the efforts that you're putting in the other stages really, really matter.